What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Dave's RC. Home with free giveaways, guys. Reminding you to fly for your dive. What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing tonight? Let me switch this over to the comments. There we go. I'll go on my phone, and we're going to pull up the comments on the phone. Give me a second, guys. I'm just pulling up the comments. There we go. No. I gotta go back to that. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. So first off, I just want to start off by saying that it's been a long month, man. I had a friend pass away. Actually, there was a couple of them that actually passed away. One of them I was a little bit closer to than the other. Unexpected financial stuff came up where I had to fix my wife's truck. We had to get some stuff done on the truck. So it's just been a bad month overall. And I just needed a break from everything. So I decided to just take a break. If any of you guys are owed money from last month's giveaway, that'll be given out Thursday the 1st. So I'll be giving you guys all that on the 1st. So just wanted to get that out of the way real quick.
I wrote it down for you, Battle, so you don't have to worry about it.
And then Eric also did a giveaway with you guys while I wasn't there. I appreciate him doing that. I appreciate him running the stream for me that night. And those were we had like 125 a piece for you guys. And we'll see if I'll talk with Eric and we'll see about maybe, evening that out, give you guys like 150 a piece or something. Mickey BRC, yes, I have your request for your payment, and as soon as the funds get deposited into my account, I will make sure I get you taken care of, man.
I have the other person's info. For whatever reason, the link wasn't working. So when you're ready to do that, I have their username and PayPal, so just be aware of that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so just a really bad month financially, you guys, and then
well, what do you have the oil pump go in your wife's car? That kind of puts a damper on things.
It was bad, you guys. It actually ruined a bunch of stuff. Like there was no oil getting to the top of the motor, so the cam bearings were actually bad.
Besides warping the heads.
And the heads getting warped and having a leaking head gas. It just really did a lot of damage. The longer it sat and we didn't get it fixed. Like you hear a little bit of ticking, but you think that it could just be spark knock, Jeeps.
Well,
I remember my old, it used to tick like that too, like the old straight six that we had in the old Jeep. It used to tick like that too, and it went away after a little while, and so did this. But yeah, it caused more damage to the vehicle, us not knowing what was wrong. There's supposed to be a dummy light that comes on in these brand new Jeeps that lets you know that stuff's failing, and in her Jeep in particular, that dummy light did not come on. So we weren't notified of the problem, but everything's fixed now, and everything's good to go. Like I said, it's just a bad month, you guys. And then I lost a good friend of mine. He actually overdosed in Portland, right on the sidewalk. He's been homeless for a long time. He's a battle buddy. He's been homeless most of his life after he got out of the military. His PTSD was so bad that he just could never go back to living a normal lifestyle again. So he just did what sometimes what veterans do, man. They come home and can't deal with it, so they turn to a life of drugs. And he ended up overdosing on the sidewalk, like literally 10 feet away from another friend that literally passed away 3 days later. So it's just a really scary thing. There's some bad drugs going around in Portland right now, and they're just killing people. And unfortunately, that kind of shit happens when you play with fire. Sometimes you're gonna get burned, and he got burnt big time. So yeah, so after everything, with his mother and everything, the VA helping out and getting his burial plot and everything, so everything went well and everything went according to plan. And then I just I went on a hiatus, man. I just disappeared for a little while. I just like Eric said, I just needed a break, and I took a break. I wanted to go to Jet Jam so bad, but just literally financially, I couldn't do it. It just wasn't feasible. And we had some more important things to take care of than than RC stuff. But for all you contest winners from last month, I will get you guys taken care of. It's not this Thursday coming up. It's the Thursday after. Yes, the Thursday after. So any of you guys that are owed money at that time, I'll make sure that you guys get taken care of then.
So at John Graham, it took me 8 years to finally get all my ratings correct. So a lot of these people, if they come home way up more messed up than Dave or I, they can't deal with fighting the VA until they become homeless because they can't do anything else.
So with my buddy Buzzle, he actually really just didn't want it. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. He didn't want nothing to do with the military anymore. He didn't want to ask anything from them. Like we went in together on the buddy program, which means that we went to basic training together, and then we went to AIT together. But he actually went to a special training course, and ended up switching his MOS over to infantry. So he had it pretty bad, you guys. He had it pretty bad. So when he got home, he didn't want anything. He didn't want nothing from no one, and he just kind of just lived on the streets and did drugs. I mean, that's what he did. And I don't judge anybody. He's still a friend of mine, no matter if he was a drug addict or not. I mean, that doesn't sway me away from wanting to be your friend or being any part of your life. It actually kind of makes me want to help you more. But at the same time, these guys, they don't want help. They just want to be left alone. They're not asking for anybody for anything. They're not, coming to you and saying, hey, I need some money for, they just wouldn't do that. Whatever he did it on his own, and, never asked anybody for anything. So it's just a sad story. And, the guy that used to live downstairs, my ex-neighbor, he was actually in that same group of guys that were doing that same specific drug that they were doing. And he actually came out with all kinds of infections in his body and had to go to the hospital. So he almost died too. So it was almost 3 people almost died, man. A bad batch of heroin came up here full of fucking fentanyl or whatever they put in it nowadays. And it tore through the downtown Portland area. It ended up killing 7 or 8 people. And unfortunately, 2 of those guys one of them especially was a really good friend of mine, very close friend of mine. So pretty tough, man. It's a tough thing. It's tough already knowing that your friend's out there doing that kind of shit, and it's tough knowing what I know what my brain does on a daily basis, and just thinking that that's what he's doing to just get rid of the problem. That was his problem solver. My family was my problem solver. RC is my problem solver.
Same here.
You know what I mean? But for some people, it's drugs, and like I said,
well, if they don't have the support structure like I do, family, right, especially it's tough, a wife and kids, it's too much. So
I had always hoped that he would find a girlfriend and settle down, and it just never happened. That wasn't important to him. When you're a heroin addict, the first thing on your mind every morning when you wake up is, where am I going to get my fix? Especially when you don't have a job and you don't make any money, and how am I going to get that fix? And that's
when you have mental disease too, it makes
it a lot worse. Right? Yeah, because sometimes they'll do some pretty crappy things in order to get that. Like my other buddy that died, that guy, he would rip off his own mother to get high. Unfortunately for my buddy, my battle buddy, he didn't do those kind of things. He was very honest. He would probably go make some moves and sell some stuff for somebody in order to get his. But he did it the honest way, but at the same time.
So he was self-medicating. He was
right, basically. Yeah, exactly, Eric. That's exactly what he was self-medicating, and
he wasn't crackhead per se.
Oh, no, God, no. As a matter of fact, when you caught him when he wasn't high, he's just a normal guy. You could tell that he had some problems. He was very, very adamant about being a veteran, and serving his country, and he's very proud of that. But at the same time, when you would approach him and say, hey, well, let's go get the VA stuff started, he said, no, I don't want nothing to do with that. He said, could you imagine if I got, $3,000 or $1,000 a month, Dave? I'd die. It would kill me. And unfortunately, even without that money, it ended up happening anyway. So I understood completely. I understood that if he was ever entitled to that kind of money, it would have killed him. Literally would have killed him. He would have done drugs to the point where it would have killed him. Sometimes I kind of think that that's what he wanted anyways. He just was just maybe one of these times it'll be the KO. And I hate to say that that's what he was looking for in life, but I think that that's what he was looking for in life. He was just looking for that one shot that was just going to really just, take his head off, and that would be the end of it. Like I said, he was in the infantry, man. He's seen some shit that I couldn't even explain to you guys.
I saw some of that stuff too. So
like when I say I'm a combat vet, I never really sat in the sticks and in the woods and actually, I was a combat veteran because I was over there. That you're entitled to that title, but he was a true combat veteran, man. He sat on top of a Humvee with a 50 cal. So, I mean, that was his job. So, I knew a few of those guys over there, those 50 cal gunners on the Humvees. I watched one of them shoot a camel up with a 50 cal one day, and he got thrown out of the military. He thought he was just going to be going home and getting discharged. He actually went to Fort Leavenworth for a while, guys, and that was, almost took me down with him because I was standing there when it happened. They thought that I antagonized it or I was part of it. No, I didn't have shit to do with that. That boy wanted to go home. That's what he said right before he did it. I want to go home. I'm done with this. He was terrified every day. He woke up. He was terrified. He was scared. Every time they went out on their sweeps, he would come home and just be like, another close call, man. I just feel that one of these days I'm not coming back, And he decided to do some stupid shit, and yeah, he got other than honorable discharge. So he didn't get a dishonorable discharge. He got a other than honorable discharge, and he spent like 4 or 5 months at Fort Leavenworth. So,
well, and that's, even though it's not dishonorable, it still affects your benefits.
It does. Yeah. Like there's a few different discharges that you can get. You get an honorable discharge. You can get a general under honorable conditions discharge. You can get an other than honorable discharge, or you can get a dishonorable discharge, and that's the one you want to avoid at all costs. They're really hard to get nowadays. They'll give you an other than honorable before they pass out the dishonorable, because once you get dishonorable discharge on your DD 214, that never goes away. That is on there for the rest of your life. And anyone and everyone that sees your DD 214 and they see dishonorable discharge, that will haunt you for the rest of your life. No one will want to hire you. No one will want to deal with you. It's just a horrible thing to even have anywhere near your name. It's not a good deal. Not a good deal to have that kind of a discharge.
Paul, I was attached to First Cab when I was deployed with the National Guard, so I've been spurred since I was attached to First Cab, and I have
First Cab, baby. First Cab weren't they, back in Vietnam? Wasn't First Cab? Weren't they the ones that went into the Ai Drang Valley? Wasn't that First Cab?
Yeah.
Was that First Cab or 7 Cab? I can't remember. What was Oh man, somebody else had that back in the day. That was Colonel. What was his name? They actually gave them that before they actually deployed to the Ai Drang Valley. I can't think of who it was now. It
is First Cab.
Yeah, it was First Cab.
But I have
Cab.
a huge knockoff patch if I was put my uniform on.
Who was the popular commander in the past that actually was First Cab as well? They actually gave him that. They gave them First Cab in honor of that guy.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Hal Moore. So Hal Moore was the one that was in charge of the Vietnam one. I'm talking about way back, like maybe
World War II.
Yeah, World War I or World War II, maybe. They actually, that was actually another popular commander's Custer. There you go. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, General Custer. That's right. He was also First Cab. That's why when they went to the Ai Drang Valley, they actually, I don't know if you guys saw the movie We Were Soldiers, but that movie was actually all about that first initial battle at the Ai Drang when they had like 400, 500 troops and they were going against 10 or 15,000 troops.
And they were underground, so they didn't know they were there.
Yeah, man, and dude, that Hal Moore, what a brilliant mind. Just what a brilliant military mind. That guy had a knack for a battlefield. As soon as he stepped foot on the ground and looked around, he already had plans in motion, you know? Like you could see the wheels turning. I think Mel Gibson did a good job portraying him in the movie. I guess a lot of people said that he wasn't quite as serious and quite as like, you know, he was more of a, you know, laid back kind of funny guy. But I think he did well in the movie. I think he did awesome. He did an awesome job doing the movie. But yeah, man, you got 500 guys, and you're bringing them in like what 6 to 10 at a time on a chopper. So you're not getting 400 men on the ground all at once. You know, you're going to have like 30, 40 guys on the ground right at first, and then you're going to get another wave of choppers come through. You know, and then get another 40 or 50 on the ground. So yeah, that was a pretty cool movie, man. I thought they did well.
Speaking of Custer, where my brother's moving in Montana, is close to Custer's Last Stand. So there's actually, he's talked to me a little bit about it when I go in a week or two to help him.
That was the Civil War?
Before the Civil War.
So Revolutionary War?
After the Revolutionary, but it was
Revolutionary War. Okay. 1st Battalion, 7th Cav. I'm corrected. Okay.
Paul, correct. They used Chinooks too, but they did use a bunch. They used Hueys more too, though.
Little Bighorn. That's right, George Watts. Thank you, sir. I was trying to figure out in my head what it was. It was Little Bighorn. So that wasn't that the French Revolutionary War or the French Indian War?
That's against Bighorn, right? The Native Americans.
Right, so that was the French Indian. Okay.
It was a slaughter too. My brother said there's graves just everywhere randomly, just like going to the Civil War battlefield where you'll see grave sites if they're marked. They're just randomly everywhere.
Oh, kitty.
Bad cat, demon cat.
Demon cat. After the Civil War. Okay, so after the Civil War. Yeah, that makes sense.
I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, guys. So I was gonna go fly tonight, and I ended up taking my wife out to this Hobby Lobby place that we have here in Maine. It's up in Lewiston, and I said, you know what? By the time we get back, you know, I probably just want to like lay down and relax for a minute before I do the show tonight. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So I decided that we would just go in the morning. Not to mention, I wanted to mess with this plane a little bit because I got the 4000 50C in there right now, and I just want to figure out again where the CG is. I mean, I know where the CG is on the wing. It's on the back line here. I know where the CG's at, and right now when I lift it up, it's super nose heavy still. So I'm thinking I can move it back, but at the same time, I just want to know how far we can move it back before we start messing with a tail heavy plane. So I'm gonna mess with this in a minute and just see and just kind of figure out like how far we can go back with the battery, because right now it's actually about a good 3 inches back from the.
What size battery is it?
It's a 4000 6S 4000 Smart Pack 50C. And I when I bought the 4000 packs, I went with the 50C on purpose because I see the 30Cs. I have a bunch of the 30C packs, and they will start puffing after a little while. And I haven't had that happen with these 50Cs yet. The 50Cs handle the discharge a lot better.
30 is not quite good enough for an EDF.
Yeah, I mean, I was all ready to go to Jet Jams, you guys. I bought 2 of the AR 630 receivers because Bobby was going to bring some planes for me. Let's see. I got a new charger too, you guys. I'm going to show it to you real quick.
Give us the explanation of what your dog's name is, because someone asked.
What happened?
Give us the brief explanation of what your dog's name is, because somebody asked.
His name's Crixus. It's like a guy. He was like he was one of Spartacus's generals, like Gannicus and Animaeus and Crixus were all generals of Spartacus. I was gonna name him Gannicus, but it was just a little bit too long of a name, so we ended up naming him Crixus. Real short, real sweet. Like I said, Crixus is just he was Spartacus's second in command.
David Snyder. So yeah, but those Roaring Tops are probably one of the better batteries you can get. A lot of these other brand batteries, some of these EDS will smoke a 35 or 30C battery.
Yes, so you could take a 30C pack, like an HRB 30C, and you could take like one of the old E-Flight 30Cs, and maybe one of these new smart packs, and then maybe an Admiral, and eventually the Admiral, the smart pack, and the E-Flight, they'll all start puffing. I have yet, as of this point, I have yet to puff up an HRB battery. It hasn't happened. And I've left them charged for months on end, taken them out, ripped them through a plane, and still just solid bricks, man. They're just so. I got a new charger, you guys. I've got the
Well, you gotta
kind of turn
you
me on
gotta.
to beat.
Sorry to interrupt you. You got to tell them the story why you have a new one. Like what happened?
Okay, so I have a new charger because I had my high-tech charger plugged in. I was charging an HRB pack, a 6000, HRB 6000, and it started smoking and sparking everywhere. It like almost caught on. Well, it kind of did catch on fire. It like pretty much electrocuted my daughter, and she had to rip the wire out of the wall real quick and like throw it onto the floor. So yeah, that's why I have a new charger, you guys, because the high-tech charger almost killed my family and burned down my house. So I got this new smart charger. It's the Gen 2 S1200. It only charges one battery at a time, but it charges them really fast, you guys, like really fast. Like, I mean, I've never charged a battery so fast in my life. This thing charges them so fast, so efficient. You can also charge any other battery. It doesn't have to be a smart pack, you guys. You just plug in the ballast lead if it's a different battery. If it's a smart technology battery, all you got to do is just plug it in, and it automatically reads what it is, how many amps and then it also saves on the computer chip like what you wanted it to charge at. So like you can set it for like 5 amps, like 5.5 amps. If it's like a 5,000 or 4,000 or higher, you can go up a little bit higher, like 8, 9, 10, even 10 amps. But yeah, man, super nice charger. It's really easy to use, like super easy to use. It's the easiest charger I've only had a couple of chargers in my career of flying planes, RC planes. This charger makes things so easy. Like literally just plug it in and the thing already knows. It already knows what you want. And the only thing that you have to change is like if you're charging like an HRB or some other battery that doesn't have the chip in it, you just have to go in there and set your like amps, how fast you want it set or how fast you want it to charge. And you have to do that every time. But with the smart packs, it'll automatically like store it on the chip. So like next time I plug in this 4000, it'll be charging at 5.5 amps. And then the other 4000 as well at 5.5 amps. It starts them off low, like 1.5 amps. And then I texted, I texted Bobby Kamitta, and I was like, well, how high can I go up on, this type of battery or that type of battery? He's like, between 5.5 amps and 10 amps, you should be fine on 6S. And so, yeah, and the batteries charge like within 20 minutes, you guys. Like literally what used to take an hour to charge, these batteries are charging in like 20 to 22 minutes. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy. Definitely worth the money to get a smart charger, you guys. You don't have a smart charger. What's that?
I was going to say it was a pleasant surprise to come home to have a brand new charger.
That's right. Yeah, I came home. I had a brand new charger sitting there. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice, man. I got 2 brand new receivers, and now I need planes.
Well, you got planes.
Yeah, I got planes. Yeah. So yeah, another thing that I was going to talk about, I was going to buy the 262, you guys, the HSD 262. Unfortunately, my mind has been changed, but not unfortunate to the point where I'm not going to buy an HSD plane. I'm just going to get the Sabre. I'm going to wait for that Sabre to drop, and then I'm going to get the Sabre. Until then, I was going to get the F-16, the E-Flight F-16, but I'm going to hold off on that because I would much rather put my pre-order in on the new Viper that's coming out. I have a little Arrows Viper, a little 50 millimeter Arrows Viper. I love the way that thing flies, and I couldn't imagine, now there's a big one, a big 90 mil. I guarantee you that thing is going to fly amazing.
Yeah, it's 90 mil.
Slow. Yeah, that thing's going to fly slow. It's going to fly fast, and it's going to do everything well. If it compares to that little one at all, that little one, it doesn't even have flaps, and you could slow that thing down to like nothing. It's a fast little rocket, man. Probably a good 60, 70 miles an hour that thing's moving. So if that little one flies that well, I can imagine that a nice big 90 mil is just going to be a baby. So I'm actually that's what I'm going to focus on. But the first thing that I'm focusing on is getting you contest winners paid. That's the most important thing right now. That's getting you guys taken care of, and then that plane's not going to be coming out until the end of next month anyway. So I still have like another month before I have to worry about it.
It doesn't have the 4-letter word that aerospace engineers hate wrong with it, like the HSD 262 does. Flutter.
Flutter? Oh my goodness.
That's the F word that aerospace / aeronautical engineers hate.
So yeah, guys, I am sorry about my absence, but at the same time, it was needed. There's only so much a person can take. There's only so much that a person can handle in a 1 month period. And like I told Eric, I said if one of those things happen, like the car breaking down, or the Jeep breaking down, a brand new Jeep by the way, Jeep breaking down, or
just a warranty too,
and then having another friend die. I said I could take one of those a year, and when you get smacked with 3 in 1 month, within a 5-day span of one another, that was too much. That was just too. It was too much, and I needed a break. So I took a break, guys, and I apologize for that. I owe it to you guys to be out here making videos for you. I actually do have a maiden flight on the new Focke-Wulf, the E-Flight Focke-Wulf, but I want to redo it. I want to redo the video. Me and my brother were kind of horsing around, and I want it to be a little bit more professional than that. I mean, I will put some clips of that into the new video that I'm going to make. But yeah, we were just horsing around. What was supposed to be a 10-minute, reveal of a plane and a maiden flight ended up turning into like 35, 40 minutes of us horsing around and dinking around and, trying to get the thing. Even though I knew I was supposed to be 3-point landing it, I'm kind of like stubborn, and I wanted to get that thing on the mains so bad. And literally the first time I came in to land it, it was right on the mains, just a little too hard, and it bounced. And I was like, well, I want to try that again. So I went back around, and I got it to come down on the mains. It is possible to land that plane on the mains, but at the same time, you're carrying a bit more speed than what you would really need to land. So it's easy to do in grass, hard to do on pavement. I don't think you're going to be able to do it on pavement. On pavement, you're probably going to want a 3-point land it. But on grass, the way the grass slows the plane down, it's definitely it is possible. And it's kind of fun to try to challenge yourself to do it. And I did it 2 times in a row, and it was kind of fun. So I'm going to put those 2 clips into the video, at least those 2 landings, and so you guys can see those. Like we literally 2-pointed right on the mains, and it was kind of fun. The plane just carries its weight really well and holds its energy well. It's not an easy plane to slow down. I mean, you can max flap it, and it still carries its weight quite well. So it's an amazing plane. It flies great. Like I said, if you have the P-51, you might as well go ahead and get the Focke-Wulf. Probably within another couple of weeks here, I'm going to have the Hobby King Focke-Wulf out with the Horizon E-Flight Focke-Wulf, just to give you guys a side-by-side comparison. The Hobby King one is noticeably bigger. It's noticeably heavier. But the E-Flight Focke-Wulf is noticeably better in quality. Just all around, just a beautiful, beautiful plane. The quality is it's unmatched with the Hobby King one. You can tell the Hobby King one, they cut some corners.
There's definitely older model too. The Hobby King's an older model too.
It's an older model, and you're definitely going to have to do some modeling. Like the tail on that Hobby King Focke-Wulf, it is a horrible design. You're going to want to just epoxy that whole tail right on. Like you're not even going to want to mess around with the screws or any of that stuff. Just epoxy that whole tail right on and just forget about it. glue it on and be done with it. Because if you don't, the screws don't really line up, and it's not a really good system for holding everything together. I guarantee you right now, you'll fly it a couple of times, and one of those tail components are going to come off. And it's probably going to be the rudder. The rudder's probably going to come fly. It's best to I just epoxied my whole tail. The retracts ended up burning out because I didn't use the sequencer. Didn't think I should have to use a sequencer. And the voltage coming out of the receiver was actually too much for the retracts and burnt out the stock retracts that were in it. I bought some E-Flight ones in for it. The first ones weren't. They came from the manufacturer messed up. We ended up getting those replaced. Ray and Robbins, awesome dude. Ray's a cool dude. He actually swapped them out and got me a new pair, a new set of mains, new retracts. Put those ones in. Haven't had an issue with them since. They're really good retracts. Those E-Flight retracts are really nice. But I'm going to get both of those out at the same time and actually show you them both at the same time. I haven't flown the Hobby King one with the new receiver, the gyro receiver that's in it. I had my old tactic stuff hooked up in it on the first couple of flights, and the tail was doing one of these weird wiggle things, and I think it had to do with the gyro. I'm not sure. I will go back out and I'll fly them both together so that you guys can just see, what you're getting. My opinion, I think the E-Flight one is hands down the winner of. But if you want a nice big Focke-Wulf, you can't beat that Hobby King one, man. That thing is big. It's noticeably bigger than the Horizon one. It says it's 1,600 millimeters. It's probably pushing about 1,700 millimeters.
That's a good looking bird too.
It's nice. It's got a really nice paint job on it too, man. It's got. I can't remember which one that was. I can't remember what scheme is on that Focke-Wulf, but it's a good one. It's a nice one.
Ed, while I got you here for a second, Roach says he has 90 mil F-16 if you're interested. That's signed by Pilot Ryan.
He has a 90 millimeter F-16 that's signed by Pilot Ryan. 90 mil F-16?
Yeah, it used to be Pilot Mike's, or Captain Mike's is what he said.
Really?
So just get in touch with Roach Coach later.
Roach, text me and just text me and put your name there so I know it's you, and I'll get back a hold of you later. That's the free wing one then, right?
Yeah. I guess it's got Pilot Ryan's signature in it. So.
Oh, really? Okay. I'll be damned. Yeah, I'm interested in anything that has some history, and that plane has some history.
Says he has a MA-262 for sale too.
Which one is that? The free wing one?
Is the free wing one 70 millimeter? I can't remember.
George Watts, thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. I'll put that towards the money that's owed to the guys for the giveaway for the last couple months or for the last month.
The free wing 262 70 millimeter, isn't it? Yeah, he's saying yes, it's a free wing and it belongs to Captain Mike. It belonged to Captain Mike. So that used to be a Captain Mike bird.
Yeah, Roach, give me a little bit of time to think about that, man. Like I said, I didn't have any plans for buying any planes this month. Not unless that HSD HSD Sabre drops in that time. Yeah, if it doesn't and you still have that, I wouldn't mind taking that off your hands. That's a piece of history right there, man. That's a piece of hanger rat history.
And also, maybe we should talk about the guys that you have some stuff you need to send to, like Hamilton and Rackham.
So I dug out everything yesterday, you guys. I dug out everything that needed to be sent. Hamilton hanger, his FMS motor that I have for him, that's already boxed up. what's his? Oh my God, why can't I think of anybody's name right now?
Wreckham.
Wreckham Royce, thank you. God, Jesus, man, I'm losing. Yeah, you can tell it's been a long one, guys. Yeah, Wreckham Royce, your flex jet fan. I got that. I have that taken care of. I dug that out, and the one thing before I was sending out the boy, before I sent out Ethan his F-22, I had to find that smart checker, and I found it. So after digging through everything for a good, I don't know, 2 hours, I finally found the smart checker. So now I can send the boys box out too. That's literally all I was. Hangar 51. Bob, Hangar 51 says he's got something for sale, guys. You guys check out the comment. So yeah, I've got all that stuff, and then Eric, we already talked about your 2 planes that I'm sending you. We'll get those
At some point,
off.
I'll be getting other ones from you, but it's no biggie. So I'm not worried.
I'm sending Eric my old Free Wing Super Scorpion. I'm gonna send that to him. I need to make some room. I got to make some room in that room. He's getting my Free Wings Super Scorpion, and I did a couple of flight videos on the Dynam Meteor version 3 with the retracts there, and ended up ripping one of the retracts off during a takeoff. So Bobby sent me a brand new retract for that plane, and that one's also getting sent to Eric as well. And then he's also going to get I'm sure Eric will have a few of my old planes by the time we're done. But those are the next 2 that are sent off to him.
I like working on this stuff, so if they need a little bit of work, it doesn't bug me. And if they don't look like a brand new plane, it doesn't bug me either. So
right. No, I mean that's cool. I mean, it gives me a chance to get some stuff out of my room so that I can power. I guess the biggest thing about being an influencer and you're doing it out of your own pocket, you guys, is the cost. The expense is huge. I was talking with Mary Boozer at the at Imperial RC Club down there at the Pilot Ryan Fly-In, and he's like, they're looking for you to have like 2,000-3,000 subscribers before they start sending you out stuff to influence. So I still have a few more subs to go, guys. So if you haven't subbed yet, make sure you go over there and hit that subscriber button. Subscribe, like, and we haven't put up a lot of videos lately, but we're going to start putting some more videos up here shortly. I would definitely like to get to the point where I'm not paying as much for the planes. I don't mind paying something for the planes, but as an influencer, you're typically getting those planes for free. I don't necessarily want anything for free. A discount would be nice. 50% off, 25% off would even be nice. As an influencer, that would be cool. So yeah, I'm not looking for a handout, but at the same time, I do enjoy doing this. But on the other hand, I'm only buying planes that I like, because there's no reason for me to go buy. So there's no reason for me to go buy a plane to do a video on, and that's it. So the planes that I do buy are planes that I like and want to have in my hangar. Unfortunately, we did go out and do a second run on that Hawker Hunter, you guys, and it is doing the same exact thing. It is rolling violently to the right. I'm going to put up both videos, you guys. Maybe one of you guys can tell me what's going on. It's almost like when I go to max throttle, the rudder's kicking over to the right. I didn't pay attention to that. I am actually going to recheck that to see if that's what's happening. But it seems like every time I punch the throttle to full, the rudder's kicking all the way to the right. That's what it feels like it's doing to the plane. It feels like the plane's just rolling. I have my left trim maxed completely out, and it's still slightly rolling over to the right. So I don't know what's going on with that plane. I'm not sure what's going on with it. I tried it twice, you guys. I tried it twice, and both times I was scared shitless because a plane shouldn't do that. That's not what planes are supposed to do when they fly. And it was quite traumatizing. I had Kyle out the second time I did it, and he couldn't understand it. Oh, Eric, man, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Eric sent over a $50 super chat as well, you guys. All that I will make sure that all that goes towards the guys that need to get paid off. And my apologies once again, you guys. Like it was like after everything was said and done, it was like $2,300 to get my wife's truck fixed. The oil pump went out, and when the oil pump goes out, it's supposed to send an alarm to the dash to tell us that, hey, there's an engine failure or there's a mechanical
pressure or low pressure or something.
But none of that was showing up. None of that was being displayed. So we thought everything, we just heard a little ticking in the motor. Well, what that ticking was the valve seats actually coming loose. The valve seats that are under the valves, they were actually starting to loosen because there was just friction, no oil getting pumped to the top of the motor. Not only did we damage two of the valve seats, the rear valve seats, but the two of the cam bearings were almost toast, completely, almost halfway worn down. And the oil pump was gone. And then not on top of that, the top of the motor was heating up to the point where one of the heads warped and it was slightly leaking coolant. Like I kept smelling coolant, and I've smelled coolant on that truck for like the past 4 months. I kept saying, I smell coolant. Why am I smelling coolant on a truck that has less than 75,000 or 85,000 miles? Why am I smelling coolant? I should not be smelling coolant on an engine that new. And sure enough, that's what it was, you guys. We actually had a small coolant leak because the head was warped. So the heads got redone. I mean, it was easily a $3,500 job, and because of where we took it, and we know the guys that own the place, and we've been going there for many, many years, he gave me quite the break, you guys. But yeah, man, my whole check was pretty much my wife's truck getting fixed. So yeah, it like I said, it killed me, man. It killed me. And then I helped with my buddy's burial plot. I ended up pitching in like $450 to get him a headstone. Yeah, man, just a rough month, man. Just a rough month. So I apologize for all you guys that were contest winners last month. This has really never happened before. I've never had a big expense pop up like this and just stop me dead in my tracks from being able to take care of you guys. And yeah, man, it's just a rough month, man. That's just shit happens. I'm just really just glad that the Jeep is fixed. I mean, it actually runs better than mine now. It's pretty crazy.
So Dave, you got some, John Graham here is asking about, so you got a lawyer to get help with the VA. Could you kind of explain to him what happened and why you got to be careful getting a lawyer if you're going to go after the VA? Because it's pretty common to have happen what happened to you. So could you just explain to it real quick?
Oh, well, first off, man, if you've already done all your paperwork and all your paperwork is submitted, you don't need a lawyer. You go in there and you fight. You just keep fighting it, because what will happen is what happened to me. My wife did all the legwork. She did all the paperwork. We went to all the hearings together. And then the final hearing, my lawyer didn't even show up. I was there alone. I got my settlement, or got my pension from the military, and he ended up getting 30% of my money for doing nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And he took it too. He took it. And I'm actually in the process of trying to get that, because he did absolutely nothing. He didn't even show up to the last hearing. That was like the most important hearing to show up to. So if you make sure it's in the very beginning. Make sure he's doing all the paperwork, because you don't want to do all the legwork, then go get a lawyer, and then have him take 30% of your cash, and he did absolute jack shit for that money. That's what you have to be careful.
Pretty common, unfortunately. A lot of the companies.
Oh yes, it is, man. A lot of these lawyers, they're actually looking for people like you. They're looking for people that have already put in all the legwork, and then they just swoop in to take the money. Like I said, I'm actually in the midst of actually getting that taken care of. He's gonna have to pay me back all that money. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
The VA is gonna go after him. Actually, is what's going on.
Yeah. So basically, what happened? The VA is actually gonna go after him for the money. If he doesn't pay it back, then there's gonna be court hearings. And when there's court hearings, there's court costs. And he's not going to want to have to pay all those court costs on top of having to give me the money back. So basically what's going to happen is he's just going to end up having to pay me back some of that money. Some of it or all of it. It just really depends on what I want. Do I feel like he deserved any of that money? Oh, fuck no. He didn't deserve a damn thing. He didn't even show up for the hearing. Like the most important hearing that there was, I was sitting there alone looking for my lawyer. Where the hell is this guy? I mean, it's pretty important that he's here right now. He's not here. And he didn't even show. He didn't even give me a phone call. I called him. I said, "Where were you at, man?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "We had our hearing today for the benefit." "Oh, I didn't have to be there." "Yeah, you did have to be here, dude. That's what I'm paying you for. I'm paying you to be here with me, and you weren't here, dude. What the hell? You're gonna get 30% of my cash, and you weren't even here at the most important hearing? What's wrong with you?" And he tried playing it off like, "Oh, it's not important. Don't worry. I didn't have to." Yes, you did have to be here. Whether you think you did or not, you were supposed to be here for me. I'm paying you a lot of money to be here, so your ass better be here. And he wasn't. So yeah, man, he's gonna have to end up paying all that money back to me. And it was a good chunk, man. I mean, I think I was entitled to well over $100,000, and he got like I said, I think I ended up with
30.
like 60,000 or something, 67,000, and he ran off with $30,000 of my. Doing his job. Make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. Make sure that your paperwork's getting filled out. Make sure that you're calling and checking on him, making sure, hey, the lawyer was supposed to have this filled out. These papers just got signed. Did you guys get them? Make sure you're checking his work, because a lot of these guys, they're just going to sit back and they're just going to wait until the VA finally just says, okay, here's your shit, and then the lawyer's going to come in there and swoop in there and take 30% of your funds. And
they want a free meal ticket.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. And they take advantage of situations like mine where, you're kind of desperate. I'm freaking growing pot for a living, which is legal here, by the way. I was growing it medicinally for medical patients. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, I still do it to this day, but I didn't want to do it on the scale that I was doing it then. I was actually, really big into it then, and it was what was paying the bills, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So, just hearing that or getting that paperwork and seeing that I said I was 100%, and it was just, a big relief, and then seeing that this is what I was supposed to get, and this is awarded all that money. He got 30%. That's right. And at first I thought it was only 20%. Then I went back and looked at the paper, and it was actually 30%. And then the fact that he wasn't there at the hearing and he got all that money. So yeah, man, I'm in the process of getting those funds back, and yeah, he's gonna have to pay him back. And he also got 30% of my my Social Security as well, man. So just a real grimy son of a bitch. He really was. My mom was like, yeah, he's not a very honest lawyer, but he's a lawyer, and I think what you need is to have a lawyer present, especially for your SSI. And he did help me get my SSI. He deserved every penny that he got there. But as far as the military money, he didn't do a freaking. My wife did all that work. She deserves that money, not him. And I would literally give that money to my wife if they actually entitled sent to her, because she is the one that did all that work. Paperwork, man. I mean, this was like 4 or 5 years of her filling out paperwork and filling out appeals and doing this and doing that and reminding me of dates and getting me up to the VA. And it was just a bad deal, man. It was a bad deal all around. So just make sure that when you do get a lawyer, if you get a lawyer, which you really don't need a lawyer for the military part of it. Eric didn't have a lawyer. He got his 100%.
You want someone local and avoid the companies that advertise on TV or the internet.
Oh God, don't ever get someone that advertises on television. Those guys are a joke, and their caseloads are overwhelming, and they're just not going to have time for you. So, like I said, my mom's the one that turned me on to this lawyer, because that's basically what he does, is just SSI cases. But he'll also do your VA stuff too. Unfortunately for me, I didn't even need him for my VA. They were going to give me the compensation anyways, and I didn't need him there. And that's why I still got my compensation without him being present at that hearing, is because they just took everything that me and my wife had already done, and they went with that. The lawyer had no involvement at all in the processes of me getting my pension from the Army. So yeah, it's crazy.
I only had Dave say this, John, because I don't want you to get screwed either. And there's a lot of veterans that are in the same boat that happened to Dave, and I just don't want you to get screwed.
And John, you're right. No, the VA is not going to make it easy. They have so many. they're supposed to turn down so many a year. They're only allowed to accept so many a year, and that all depends on your state that you live in. It's not a nationwide thing. It literally depends on the state that you live in. Like in Maine, if you lived in Maine, you were a resident of Maine, it would probably take you about 3 to 4 years to get it, but you would eventually get your 100% if you were found to have 100% disability. PTSD, that's just it, man. If they diagnose you with PTSD and it's service connected, that's it. That's 100% across the board. That
should be.
You don't have to qualify for anything else. I mean, that's it. Once you're diagnosed with PTSD, that's it. That's 100% across the board. I was diagnosed with PTSD coming out as I was ETSing out of the Army. They already knew that I had it. They documented it then. So they basically just had to backtrack and get a hold of those papers, those original discharge doctors' papers and notes. And then finally, once they got those in their hand, they were like, that was like the nail in the coffin for me with getting my disability from the military. Was they just needed to see that in writing and seeing that it was service connected and that I was still active and I had just returned from overseas and, blah, blah, blah. That's all they really wanted to see. And finally, that paperwork came from St. Louis and they saw it and they're like, okay, that's all we needed to see. You didn't need a lawyer. You didn't need any of that, So, yeah, kind of a bummer. It kind of sucks. That $30,000 would really, really, really benefit us right now. We're trying to buy a house and stuff within the next 3 years. We're also trying to get a hold of an RV so that me and my wife can travel the United States, go down to the Bahamas and stuff like that, go down to Florida and just travel everywhere. So there's a couple of things that we're trying to do. That money would really help out right now a lot. So I'm really hoping that we get that settled pretty soon because, like I said, I've been working on it for about 18 months now. Was when I first put in the information in the form and filled out the paperwork with the VA. Right away, he's like, "Oh no, he signed the paper. But you didn't even show up to his hearing. Oh, I didn't have to go. The VA thinks you should have been there too. So, bro, I think if I think you should have been there, and the VA thinks you should have been there, I think you should have been there, and you weren't. You just totally like scammed me for $30,000, bro. I mean, how do you sleep at night knowing that you scammed a disabled veteran? How do you sleep at night knowing that you do that to people? I mean, it takes a real scumbag to be able to do that to somebody. And I'm sorry, man. I'll even put their name out there. Their name's Jackson and McNichol. And they're scumbags. They are super scumbags, bro. Super, super scumbags. They do this to people all the time.
John Graham. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, they do it to veterans all the time here.
John Graham, you want to get a DAVA rep, which will be in your closest corporate VA office. All they do is do that, and they can help you. Now, in your case, you're not going to want to go in voc rehab, but they can help you get in touch with the correct people for voc rehab as well. So,
yep, bro. If you're okay, so the qualifications back when I started doing mine was you had to have like 30 days. You had like 90 days of active duty time during a time of war, which I completely exceeded that, like way over exceeded that. And that was basically it. And you had to have an honorable discharge. You couldn't have a dishonorable discharge. And you have to be careful because some codes, like if you had a general under honorable conditions discharge, some codes will actually prevent you from actually getting benefits as well. So, you can't have like an LKQ, which is like a serious military offense. You can't have one of those on your DD-214. You can get a general under honorable conditions discharge, but you can't have like an other than honorable with like an LKQ, re-enlistment code, RE code. The RE code has to be good too. Like if you wanted to re-enlist, you could, or if you were fit enough to re-enlist, you could. That RE code is what tells you whether or not the military would accept you back or not if you were able to perform the duties of a soldier or a seaman or whatever. You just have to be really careful with those codes. But I mean, as long as you're like an honorable discharge and you got a good RE code, you should have no problem as long as you had more than 90 days in of active duty or non-war time. It's like 3 years or something like that, or like 72 months or something like that. I can't remember now. But they're as long as you meet that criteria, they'll actually help you fill the paperwork out. With my wife, she's real stickler on making sure things get done and done right, and in her presence, she just asked for the packet and she filled everything out herself, and then copied everything to make sure that, you know, if it got sent out and got lost in the mail, we had another copy ready to go. You know, she was really, really good about it, man. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have my benefits right now, man. I actually didn't want I didn't want anything from the military. But my stepdad kept saying, you know, he's fucked up, man. Get him, do it behind his back if you have to, Hannah. That's what he kept telling her. And so finally I just said, you know what, if you want to fill out the paperwork and you want to do it, then go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. If that's what you want to do. I said, I personally don't want anything from them. I don't want nothing from them. I just kind of like was done. When you're done with the military, you're done with the military. You wash your hands with it. You're done, you know.
John, you're not stealing the show. I wanted you to have some good information. You're not stealing the show.
Oh, absolutely not, man. This is what we do here, man. This is what we do. We talk, man. It's not always about RC. Toe the line. This is about everything. That's why it's called Toe the Line. Hey, John, were you ex-Army? Was he ex-Army?
He's Navy.
Oh, Navy. Okay. So basically, like, that's why the show's called Toe the Line, man. Because like in basic training, when the drill sergeants used to come up in the barracks, they would say toe the line. You have to put your toe on the line. You know, there's a right at the end of the beds, at the end of the bunk beds. There's our bunk beds. There's a piece of tape that goes the entire length of the barracks, and everybody's got to put their toes on that line. So that's why that's why I call it toe the line. And it's also a time where like people screw around. That's like where we try to get everybody to laugh and then get the drill sergeants to see them laugh, so they have to do push-ups and shit. That's where we like really mess with one another and try to get each other in trouble. Like I guarantee you, by the time the drill sergeant's done going around checking your nails and your hygiene and stuff like that, and looking at you,
that you're not the smelly dude.
All right, making sure you're not the smelly guy. Yeah, you don't want to be the smelly guy. They'll throw your ass in the shower right there.
They'll get a brush and scrub you too.
Try to get each other to laugh or trying to get each other to like giggle or whatever. Because as soon as the drill sergeant hears you laugh, it's just drop. Just
smoke show.
Real estate. You'd be lucky if they don't take you out in the damn volleyball court. And you don't play volleyball in the volleyball courts in basic training. There's no nets. There's no nets in the volleyball courts. It's just a big sand pit with two posts. Like there's supposed to be a net here.
If there even is any posts.
Isn't there supposed to be a net here?
Mine didn't even have posts. And yeah.
We're just pretending. No. That's not for volleyball. That's not for volleyball.
That's for sandstorm. So
you tricked us. Everybody's rolling in off the bus, and we're like, "Oh, volleyball course. This is gonna be fun." I guarantee you don't play one day of volleyball. You don't touch a volleyball. Guarantee it. You'll spend some time in that pit. You'll never touch a volleyball.
John Graham, yes. So John Graham is retired from the Navy as a helo mechanic. And if I remember right, he's a private contractor helping guys learn how to do metal care. Because, you know, in the Navy, besides the hard landing on ships all the time being hard on the aircraft, you're in the saltwater environment. So
if you're retired, you should already get your retirement check, and then yes, you can still qualify for benefits. Oh shit, yeah. If
he's in the fighting part, like I just got out of, is what's going on.
Yeah. If you were service connected at all, yeah. My dad's a retired master chief. He's also a maintenance master chief as well. He worked on the Hueys, or not Hueys, but the Seahawks. He worked on S3s, E2s. I believe A6s, and that's it. I think that's what he did throughout his career. I know he while he was on the USS Enterprise, or was it the Nimitz? I think it was either the Nimitz or the Enterprise. That's when he was doing E2s. I think, or vice versa, the Nimitz, he was doing S3s, and then I believe he finished his duty on the USS Abraham Lincoln in San Diego, California. The USS Abraham Lincoln, San Diego, California. This must have been back in like 1998, 99, somewhere in there, maybe 2000. And he was a helicopter mechanic on the Seahawks.
So That's what John was, but I couldn't remember what it was called because my brain's not working. But he's a corrosion control SME as a private contractor, so he's showing them how to make sure the
I
metal
got some.
basically doesn't fall apart.
Shit, man. If you were ever out in California, you probably bumped noses with my dad before. Yeah, my dad moved up in rank rather quickly. He was just willing to take the job that nobody else wanted in order to move up for that rank. So if they put him on C, if that rank was to put someone on C duty, most people would be like, I don't want to go on C duty. I'd rather stay on shore duty. So he was the type of
He
dude
was
that would
willing to put the sweat equity in to get where he
you put the
wanted.
rank up here. I'll do whatever you want. That's the way my dad was. I'll do whatever the military wants here and putting it in my pocket. I'll do whatever you guys want from me. So that's, he moved up in rank quite quickly doing that. He was a senior chief. Like by the time he was like 29 or 30, maybe 31, he was already a senior chief. And then I think he spent a total of like 23 years, 22 years maybe. I can't remember now. It was either 22 or 23 years he spent total. So, yeah, man, he was definitely a lifer. Probably wanted all of us boys to go in the Navy as well. And if I could go back, I probably would have chose the Navy if I had to do it all over again. I mean, when I was in ROTC in high school, I was in Naval ROTC, so it only made sense for me to go in the Navy, right? And I think just to spite my old man, I went in the Army. I think just to spite both of them, honestly. My stepdad and my dad were both in the Navy. And I think just to spite them, I went in the Army. What a bad move it was on me, man. My dad probably could have wrote me so many damn recommendations. He had so many damn connections in the Navy that it would have just been way better if I went in the Navy. Not to mention the Navy would have probably kept me out of trouble more. I wouldn't have done some of the dumb shit that I did that while I was in the Army. I think going out to sea, it kind of takes you away from that element of being able to get mixed up in the civilian population and get yourself in trouble, which we did all the time.
Yeah. Reckham's asking what you think of this F-35. Now, you haven't flown it yet, but what's your overall about it?
Okay, so it's probably one of the nicest, most detailed, smaller planes that you're going to buy. Like, the detail on this plane is, like, second to none.
It's got more details even than the 90 mil F-22.
Oh, God. This thing, I mean, if this was a 90 millimeter, it would look like dude. As far as detail goes, like, and like just sheer detail, paint scheme, fit and finish. You could tell that they took their time with this one and produced it the right way and put it out when it was due to come out. You could tell with that Raptor that they snapped through that thing, man. They cut corners big time. Like when I got my F-22, it had these like holes everywhere.
For the carbon spars, yep. Correct, Dave Martin Graphic does not have flaps.
I like the way that on some of these edges, like if you look, like on some planes, like spots like this right here would be foam, and when you hit it, you would get dents. But this is a nice big plastic piece right here, you guys. It's got.
Plus, it lines up really well. Some of the other brands.
Oh yeah, the fit and finish on this thing, the fit, like sometimes when you look through, you can actually see through the seams on some planes. Like I can hold it on. I can see a little light in there, but not much. I like the fact that they put like really nice upgraded suspension on it already. It's got a compression struts in the rear. It's got a trailing landing gear in the front. It's actually really nice, man. They really did a really good. There's a couple of things that I wish were plastic on the plane. Like I wish these inlets for the intakes, I wish these were plastic. But that's something that you could actually probably you could literally probably cut that piece out, and then you could like maybe 3D print some plastic pieces to put there. But as far as the plane goes, that's the only quarrel that I have with the plane is that these two pointy pieces right here for the intakes are not plastic. I think this whole front lip should have been plastic. But other than that, the plane's great, man. It goes together good. The tail lines up like perfect. you'll find out on a lot of these planes that have flying stabs like this that sometimes when you're hinging it in the back, they just don't come out perfect every time. The way these are set up, they come out perfect every time because the hinge is actually molded into the plane, and you actually just slide this little piece into it and then put 2 screws in it. Hinge system for the elevators. It's better than anything that I've seen on any other plane so far. I do like that. It's just a really nice scale plane, man. It's got a lot of really good, nice scale detail. I think the only thing that you would want more from it is if it had gear doors. But like most people know, like these 70 millimeter planes, it's already hard enough to get enough detail in on it as it is. So the fact that they got this much detail on a 70 millimeter plane, hats off to them, man. It's a great looking plane.
They have several different plane. They call them molds in the video, but they have several different stencils for painting that plane because a lot of that's actually paint. I mean, there's some decals, but that plane, they have like over 10 different.
Oh yeah, you're talking. Oh yeah.
Paint.
Yes, and that's you're exactly right, Eric. Yeah, everything on here is painted on. Like I think the only thing that is actually a decal is the actual like lightning bolt on the tail. So I think that's the only thing.
And your flags on the side for different countries is decal too, but
that's a decal. Yeah, I think that's a decal too. All these other lines, these markings on here, that's all paint. It's all a stencil that they lay on this, and it actually goes through an assembly line of like paint, like a paint assembly line, like where everything gets painted, like all this leading edge stuff here on the wings, the leading edges on the intakes here, that's all painted. All of that's all a stencil that they lay over the plane.
Well, on the real one, that light gray is actually the radar absorbing material. So,
and then on the bottom, it's equally as good on the bottom. Look, guys, they didn't spare no details on the bottom. Look. The detail on the bottom is just as good as the top, if not more. I mean, that's absolutely incredible, man. I wish they would have done this with the F-22 Raptor. I really wish they would have taken their time with that Raptor. I know that they wanted to get it out. I know that they were on time restraints and they had to get it out at a certain time. But if you guys remember back then, they actually came out with the Corsair like right around the same time that they came out with that F-22. I think they should have like held off on the F-22, perfected the molds a little more so there wasn't holes all in the wings. Put some better paint to it, some better contrast, some better lines, put some nice lines in it, and just held off a couple of months on it. Corsair that they put out, that thing was a hot ticket item, bro. When that plane first came out, that was a hot ticket item. I remember I had one in my cart the day they came out, and I had it here like maybe a week after they came out, 6-7 days later, it was already on my doorstep. And I also got the Raptor right around that time. And I just remembering how nice that Corsair was, how beautiful, how wonderful of a job they did on it, and just how piss poor that F-22 was. Now,
the fly is good, but they spent more time on making it fly good.
Yeah. It's one of the best flying planes in my hangar. Don't get that twisted at all. I am not saying anything for the flight characteristic. I'm just talking about the overall detail and the attention to detail on the plane. But that Raptor is by far probably one of the nicest flying 90 millimeter jets you can buy. I mean, it's just that nice. I mean, it's just a super, super nice flying plane. It really is. And I got the 8S version, and I don't regret that at all. I think the 8S version is I think that's the way to go, to be honest with you. I know that they have a high performance 6S version now, which probably is pretty good too. But there's just nothing like 8S, man. That plane flying by on 8S, dude, that thing, it's a smoker, man. It was definitely worth the extra coin, man. It really was. It really was. But tomorrow, guys, I'm taking this out tomorrow morning. Also going to fly that Horizon E-Flight Focke-Wulf again. We're going to do a better. We're just going to do a better. It's not going to be a maiden flight, but it's going to just be a better first video. I will put some clips of the maiden flight in there, like some of those landings, and the takeoff, and a couple of things. Like, I spent a little bit of time trimming that plane out. That was I think one thing that surprised me a little bit was how much down trim that plane needed when I took off. Like, I hooked it up, just put everything together. I got all the surfaces to equal, and boy, I tell you, that thing just wanted to climb. You let go of the stick, and she just wanted to go up, man. I ended up having to put maybe about probably 6 or 7 clicks of down trim in, just to get her level, and then probably like another 4 to get that nose down attitude like I like. And then
they got the wing loading right. That means that it's really light.
Yeah, it flies good, man. I mean, it is a really nice flying plane. It really is, and usually Focke-Wulfs aren't like the Dynam Focke-Wulf.
Heavy.
That plane without a gyro, that plane is awful without a gyro. If you don't put a gyro in that Dynam Focke-Wulf, it just doesn't feel right. As soon as you slap a gyro in that thing, it just really, really makes that thing. It's like night and day. Like where did this plane come from? Yeah, man, it makes a big difference. The Hobby King Focke-Wulf, it didn't like the gyro. It did not like that gyro at all.
Could have been something wrong with that gyro too. So
it could have been, yeah. There could have been something wrong with the gyro too. Yeah, that was also a possibility. But if I go out and fly that thing with that new receiver that you gave to me, if I go out and fly with that thing and it flies good, then I'll just know that it was either a bad setting on the gyro, or it was maybe just turned up too much, or maybe that plane doesn't need a gyro. I don't know. Yeah, man, I can't wait to go fly this tomorrow. I'm excited. I got the packs all charged up. I was messing around with the CG on this thing.
Speaking of this F-35, you guys that have it, where were you guys placing your battery? So, since he's gonna go fly it tomorrow,
I'm gonna show you where I have it now, and it's nose heavy. It's damn nose heavy. So this is where I have it now, guys, and it's nose heavy.
You also have a 4050C in it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. So right here, this is nose heavy. It's significantly nose heavy. So I'm gonna take this thing. I'm gonna move it back probably about, oh Jesus, I don't know, about 4 inches. And then I'm gonna see what it does.
GB, you still in here? Where did you have your CG at?
That's still nose heavy. Look, it's still dipping down. It's almost like we can go back a little bit more. Let's try to go back a little bit more then. You want some more? We'll give you some more. Right there. That's perfect. That's perfect CG right there. That's perfect CG, and it's back. Let me grab that tape measure real quick.
Looks like what, 3 or 4 inches?
It's probably a good 4 or 5 inches back. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the tape measure.
Reckham is looking at his real quick because he has it marked.
He has his marked?
Yeah. GB says put it farther forward than recommended.
Put it farther forward. Okay, so right here, it's 3 inches away from the front of the board, and that's where it feels normal. So, and then he said put it a little farther forward. So we're gonna go at about 2.5 inches. So yeah, that would be 2.5 inches from the board.
Well, you got to remember, you don't want that plane tail heavy at all with where
at
the
all.
center.
Yeah, I might even go in further than that. I'm gonna bring it to 2.25.
Reckham's gonna send you a picture here in a little while. You got to remember the center of lift on that bird's towards the back of the plane. You don't want it heavy. So Reckham uses a 4000 Admiral 4000, which is similar to that battery.
It is, yeah.
He's going to send you a picture. Cool. Thanks, Reckham and GB.
The way this plane set up, man, it was beautiful. All the wires were already ran underneath the wooden board, and they came out here up front. So putting this AR630 in here, man, it literally goes right here. It's not in the way of the battery. All the wires are ran underneath and out the back. This is probably one of the cleanest planes I've ever bought, and it's been set up perfect. Like, when you usually buy a free wing plane, all these wires are just here in a big blob. They're just here in a big bundle. Or they're plugged into some
F-15. Like the F-15, that's a really cool bird, but the wires are kind of just
oh yeah, they're just everywhere, right? And so is the F-16, that version 2 that you got from me. That was a wiring mess too. So yeah, man, all the wires are nicely run under the board, and they came out the front, and it was already like that. They came like that. And it was probably one of the coolest things that I've ever seen out of a free wing plane. The way those came out, and I mean, this is one of the cleanest planes that I've ever set up as far as wiring goes. Like, it's legit one of the cleanest planes. Like, there's no wires anywhere, you guys. I pull this battery out of here. Look how clean that is. Look how clean that is.
GB is saying your smart pack might be slightly lighter, so just make sure you have a lot of elevator throw.
Okay.
Because that Roy's F-35 used to be GB's, so that's why GB is saying that. And if you're and if you're wondering about the settings, GB said you're also welcome to check his settings on the Maiden for when he maidened it before it was Roy's plane. So
wait a minute, GB said that?
Yeah.
Okay, GB, I'll watch your video, man. I hadn't seen that video yet. Or maybe I have, I just don't remember it. I'll actually go back and watch it, though.
And Rackham says, yeah, that's a good idea because GB does have it all in the video. But if you still want to send the text of the image, go ahead, Rackham.
Yeah, Rackham, definitely send that to me, man. GB, thanks for being in here tonight, man. Appreciate you stopping by, homie. But yeah, man, so I got it right there. That's 2 inches. I want it like at 2 1/4. So I'm gonna keep it there until I see the picture, until I watch GB's video. And then I'll probably put it right where GB had his. That's probably where I'll start. And yeah, man, we're flying. I wanted to fly it so bad today, but by the time I got home, I was so tired, you guys. I just
hot.
Yeah, dude, we had a heat wave come through here.
Everybody did this week.
Probably like a week ago, like last week or the week before. A massive heat wave came through here, man. And then like literally we had 3 days of like weather that was in the hundreds. We actually got to 102 degrees. That's what the Jeep said, 102.
With humidity.
And then literally that Friday, it goes back to 60 degrees, bro. I instantly was sick. I was instantly sick. I was in bed for 2 days, bro. 2 days because I got a cold because of that. Man,
extreme weather changes will do that to you.
That was insane, man. I tell you that was insane. But yeah, man, it's all set up. I think the one thing I haven't done yet, and I'll go ahead and do that now, is calibrate the ESC. I think I might have done it already, but I'm going to do it now again, just because I know when I get out to the field, I never think of it.
Is anyone going to host the Zoom tonight? Somebody was asking.
Somebody just put up some question marks and said Zoom. Anybody zooming? All right, so that's. Oh man, that sounds good! I can't wait. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
That's that newer 70 millimeter in runner from Freewing. That's a good in runner.
Oh, it sounds nice, man. It sounds so. I am so excited, bros. I cannot wait to go fly.
It doesn't sound like a Hoover vacuum or the S3 Viking that the Navy used to fly. Yeah. It sounds like a real jet.
I was actually at the Pilot Ryan event. There was a guy that was actually flying one. He actually flew it quite a bit there. And I kept thinking, I cannot wait to get home and fly mine, man. That thing flies so good. I actually got some footage. I still have a lot of footage from the Pilot Ryan event, you guys. I still have a lot of footage to put up. So that stuff will be coming soon, too. Probably like a good, like at least 8 to 10 videos of footage. A lot of Bobby K flying. A lot of Pilot Ryan flying. I think I have like.
Did you film the flutter incident, or was that just after that? You have pictures after?
No, I was off. I think when that fluttering thing happened, I was over talking to Kenny. Me and Kenny and Dave Marshall. We all kind of just we heard it happen, and we yanked our heads around right as the plane was going into the ground.
Thud. You probably heard the thud.
Oh yeah, well we heard the wings rip off of it too. Like we heard it come. We heard the plane. It sounded really nice, and then all of a sudden, all we heard was crack, 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 smash, and it was over. It was done. By the time me and Dave got our heads around, the plane was already in the ground. It was just hitting the ground. So, yeah, that was pretty. That was a pretty traumatizing thing for Bobby. I'm sure that's a $1,400 plane just
gone.
Gone.
Did it
Gone.
destroy his batteries? Because that's the other thing.
One of them was toast. The other one was fine. And then
because isn't there batteries
survived.
there's batteries for the fans and then batteries for the receiver and servos, isn't there?
Right. Yeah. So I think only one 6S pack survived, and it was actually had a little vent in it. So yeah, man, he lost a lot, man. I think the only thing that was really salvageable out of the plane was probably the electronic system, the fans, and the ESCs. That's it. You know, even the gear was mangled. You know, the gears were even mangled. I mean, it was a bad deal for Bobby, man. I still feel bad for Bobby, man. I actually think about that probably almost daily. The fact that plane did what it did, and man.
John Graham, yes, the HSD 262. It's like they didn't fly it enough before they released it, and at high speed they didn't reinforce the wing enough, and it starts having flutter issues, and then the wings snap off.
I think there's a couple of things that they could do to probably fix it. Either put a round spar in there, or take the square spar that's in there and turn it up so that it's a diamond shape instead of a square shape. That way, the forward edge of the wing has the forward edge of the diamond. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? So you want that point to be pointing forward instead of having the flat part facing the front of the wing. You want to have that edge facing the wing. That way, up and down this way, you're getting more strength because that's your two strong points are those spines. You know, the spines on a square are your strongest points, right? Your corners where it comes together. So instead of having it flat towards the wing like this way, like squared off towards the wing this way, you actually want the point coming off the wing. So you would want your point coming this way, you know.
You want the load on the point and not in between the point.
Right. So, and then another thing is like, you know, yes, they'll probably all have a fluttering problem, but like it was like RC Informer was saying, like there's a number of things that Bobby could have done when the wing started fluttering like that, and it just so happened that he made the one move that he shouldn't have done, which was pull any kind of elevator. And as the wing started fluttering, he may have had his hand on the elevator.
You induce more oscillations when that happens.
Right. So, yeah, as the wings start fluttering like this, the last thing that you want to do is pull elevator and get them to go even more.
You actually want to slow it down a little bit.
You just want to cut the throttle. Not pop flats, cut the throttle. Sorry, hold on, guys. I got to block the camera. My wife's just gotten out of the shower. Hold on. Oh, I just showed them all, Hannah. They just saw you. Just kidding.
Oh, jeez. You're going to make her mad.
They all saw your booty, Hannah. Oh, man. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. Or would I? Oh, man. Yeah, so anybody else got any questions? I'll go back and check the PayPal again, make sure I've given everybody their shout-outs.
But still, if that plane's made,
all the PayPal money that you guys just sent, I'll make sure that I'll make sure that gets out to the guys. Next week when I get paid, I'll make sure I put all that money into the pot and send it out to the guys that won. We will do another giveaway on the 1st as well. We'll do another giveaway. I'm just not sure what it's going to be. If I'm using this to pay these guys, then we'll probably just do we'll just do like a couple $100, $125, $150 gift cards or something like that. Just so we're doing something. Or maybe we can do 3 $100 giveaways or something like that. We'll do something. We'll make sure that you guys have a giveaway for this month.
Well, look, Pilot Ryan just got in here, but look what he said about it.
HSD and Bitco Hobby have a good thing going on. No worries there. Yeah, right. Dude, I am so glad that Bitco and HSD, that's awesome, man. I'm really, really. I'm really proud of Bobby and Ryan for what they've done with Bitco Hobby and everything that they've done there, man. So super proud of those guys, man. I couldn't be more proud of Ryan for what he's done and what he's accomplished after him leaving Motion RC and doing his own thing. That guy, he works his ass off, you guys, And what you guys don't see is what Bobby does behind the scenes. You know, he helps out Ryan quite a bit, man. You know, he packs the trailer, unloads the trailer. He takes, you know, Ryan takes his planes apart and kind of gets them all set up there for Bobby to put in the trailer. But you know, Bobby puts a lot of work in behind the scenes as well. So, you know, you got to give Bobby his credit there, and for, you know, Pilot Ryan going off and starting his own channel and working on his own channel. Finally, I think that's probably what he wanted anyways, was to just be able to work on his own channel and do his thing, and be able to do it his way, you know. And I think that he's done a wonderful job. So hats off to you, Ryan. The fly-in that you did, man, that was awesome. It was such a fun time. Really long ass drive, man, but it was definitely worth coming down and hanging out with you guys. I'll see you guys at Neffy. I'll be at Neffy. I've already talked to my wife about it, and she's like, "Are you gonna go to an event every month?" And I was like, "Well, that's when they happen. You know, they happen during the summer." And so she was kind of glad that I wasn't down at Jet Jams. Just, I mean, going to an event every month is we don't like to be away from one another, first off, and
regardless of the money, that's a long time, a long trip,
and the money too, man. Yeah, this month was a financial disaster.
But you would, regardless of that, though, you would have, whether you flew or drove, it was a long trip to go to Jet.
Still a long trip, yeah. Still a pretty long trip, man. But like I was saying, man, I think Bobby and Ryan are doing awesome stuff over at Bitco. I'm glad to be a part of it too, man. I love getting those planes from Bobby and doing flight videos on them. I really do, man. It's like, I think it's revamped like the hobby for me to actually be involved with the company. I mean, I'm not like, you know, something big. I mean, there's a lot of people that fly planes for Bitco and fly planes for Dynam and stuff. I think I'm just really fortunate that they allow me to do that for them too, man.
That green one behind me on the wall has to be made in soon, and it was from Bitco to you, now to me. So
yeah, actually, that was the first plane Jing ever sent me right there. That was the first plane I ever got from Bitco. The first plane that I ever did a review on for Bitco and Dynam. Jing sent me that plane personally. He actually picked that plane out for me to do the review on. Unfortunately, when I got it, the ESCs were messed up in it. And so instead of like bothering Jing and saying, "Hey man, I need you to send me this or this," no, I took it upon myself to buy 2 brand new ESCs for that thing. I put 2 brand new free wing. It's got the free wing ones in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put 2 brand new 30 amp free wing ESCs in there, and the plane actually goes better on the free wing ESCs than it did on the Skylord ESCs. But I didn't want to have to bother Jing with having to send me parts. You know, first time he's ever sent me a plane, the last thing I wanted to do was be like, "Oh man, you sent me a lemon." No, I didn't want to do that. Like I said, I took it upon myself. I just let everybody know that, you know, I changed out some ESCs because, you know, one of them wasn't right. I think it was Pilot Ryan that said, "Yeah, no, you should tell people that you did that. You know, don't leave something like that out. Tell them you did it." And so, yeah, I added that in. I was actually going to go and not say anything about it and just say, you know, but Ryan kind of was like, "You know, I think you probably should tell them, you know, that way you got this thing cruising around faster than what one normally does." I mean, he just threw it out there and said, "No, man, tell them, whatever, tell them, you know, and as long as the plane flies and you do a good video on it, that's all that really matters." So yeah, man, I took his advice and I said, "You know what? So I actually did put 2 new ESCs in it, free wing ESCs. And the thing flew great. It was awesome. I think it was awesome, and it lined me up for a few other planes after that. I think the best one so far that I've gotten is the P-61, and then Bobby sent me that Corsair. That Corsair, out of any Dynam plane that I've ever gotten in my entire time flying RC planes, that is the most beautiful Dynam plane I have ever seen. There's not one scuff, not one dent, not one ding. I mean, that thing was
so. That's the way
my
Hellcat you got me was.
Oh, it was perfect.
Like that Corsair.
Leaps and bounds where Bitco, where Dynam was, you know, 4 years ago to where they're at now with their quality control and their paint and stuff like that. Like I said, I didn't have not one scratch or dent in that plane anywhere. It was one of the nicest planes. It was one of the nicest planes out of box I have ever gotten. Not just a Dynam plane, but one of the nicest planes out of box I had ever gotten, period. Like, I mean, when I undid this one, there was some scratches and some scuffs in it. But when I unboxed that Dynam Corsair, there wasn't a blemish in that thing whatsoever. Not one scrape, not one microscopic dent anywhere. I mean, it was just, it just kind of let me know that, you know, they're doing things different now. They're doing things better.
They're starting to upgrade some of the power systems too. So the Hellcat Dave got me over my right shoulder on the plane stand. It came in the newer one. It came with the 600 kV instead of, I think it was a 500 they used to send in it.
I think it was like a 540 or 530 or something like that. Yeah.
And I guess that 600 is a lot better of a match with the ESC they put in it. So.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have been following Shadow Ops channel or his YouTube. Make sure you guys, if you guys haven't gone over and checked out Shadow Ops RC, make sure you guys go over there, check him out. He's actually doing a line job. He's actually going around with a nice acrylic what is it, like it's a paint pen,
markers.
Right? It's a paint
you
marker.
You can get pens.
And he's doing all the line work on it, and it looks really nice, you guys. So make sure you guys go over there, you know, drop some likes.
So these aren't the colors I'm using. I'm using black, but they're just a paint marker.
And it's acrylic. You want to make sure that it's an acrylic marker.
And you can use paint pen too, because all it is a paint pen, just the tip's thinner. So
it's kind of like a paint Sharpie.
Yeah, these are Sharpie brands. That
Hellcat looks nice, by the way, Eric. That thing looks nice. You did a really good job with it. I was looking at some of the videos and some of the pictures that he sent of it, with where he's detailing and doing the outlines with these paint markers. It looks amazing, you guys. I can't believe it's a Dynam plane. You're looking at it and you're like thinking, wow, that's a really nice.
I don't have an airbrush, but I wanted to make it look like more like a real plane. So. Because it's nice too. It's not. I have other Dynam planes that fly great.
Bring some answers. He says he doesn't have any. What a dick! Bring some answers. I don't have any. Jesus, man. And that's why we love the guy, man. That's why we love him. He's a dude. He's an awesome dude, man. Fun guy to hang out with. The Pilot Ryan that you guys see on his show and the one you get to hang out with in person, it's night and day, you guys. So I'm telling you, if you can get to any of these events, if you can really get out to one of these events and actually meet Pilot Ryan and Bobby.
He's a nice guy in his stuff.
Oh, super nice guy. Super nice guy.
Camera,
one of the nicest guys I know.
He can be more himself when he's off camera. And that lose a little more.
I still don't know if Bobby if Bobby gave him the banana or not. Did you get your banana, Ryan? Did you get your banana? I think everybody at the RC field signed it. Well, at least all the YouTubers signed it. Recom yes, thank you.
So just if you guys don't have a airbrush kit, kind of like me, if you get the acrylic water-based paint markers, you can do the same thing.
Recom Royce, thank you for that, man. So more forward than that, huh? Okay, I'll go forward. I guess I'll go forward. So the CG that's marked, the CG that they have in the book is probably not right then. It can't be right. If I have to go more forward than that, then the CG that they have in the book is not right.
Well, sometimes things change. I mean, even
it had everyone's signature. It did. It had just about every YouTuber's signature on it. It did.
Well, like when RC,
I will, dude.
I've seen RC Informer because he's helped develop some of the newer FMS birds, and I've seen where it's like something changed from the manual to the model he gets. And so sometimes the CG can be wrong in the book, unfortunately.
Pilot Ryan, he took the words right out of my mouth, and I do that, and it's something that I actually learned from Pilot Ryan. Always maiden nose heavy, always maiden forward.
Well, you can fly a nose heavy bird. You can't fly a tail heavy bird.
Oh God, man! I tell you what, man, I felt so bad for Tyler with that F-18 because it probably wasn't tail heavy. It was just the fact that it was probably right on the border of the CG, and I think that all he had to do was just push the nose down with some down elevator just to get the speed up, and he wasn't used to that. He wasn't ready
Full
or even
flying stabs too has a lot of throw,
Yeah.
and that takes a little getting used to too.
Oh, speaking of the F-18, you guys, it's all put together. I got it put back together. All I have to do now is just put the retracts back in it. But when I started testing the retracts that were coming out of the busted one that crashed, there's only one that worked. So I actually have to order a rear main and the front one all over again. I have to reorder those. The Tiger, you guys are probably wondering what's up with the F5 Tiger. I have to order a retract for that too because one of those is burnt out as well. So that's it. That's all we're doing. That's all we're waiting on for those two planes.
And parts are a little backed up no matter who the company is right now. So keep that in mind, you guys. There's still some delays with parts. I mean, I'm dealing with that with my brand new drone. I had one part bad.
What'd you say, Eric? You're dealing with
I had one part. Yeah, I had one part bad, and I just got, and there's another part that's bad. But because of all the delays, it just takes time right now.
Yep. It does, man. So I'm probably tomorrow I'm going to order the retract for the F5 because I really want to get that one out and fly it. I'm excited about flying it. And I talked to the people across the street, and they were like, well, if there's ever any planes that you got to fly where you have to fly, off the runway or whatever, she said, do it. I was like, I'm just really worried about hitting your house. She's like, what? If it hits the house, it hits the house. We fix it. Good. I was like, all right, whatever. Okay. She's like, don't worry about it. She says, my son's happiness is worth more to me than your plane hitting my house. And every time you show up here, my little boy is at that window just dying to see that plane go up in the air. So whatever you have to do to get the plane to go up in the air, by all means do it. She says, I don't care. If you hit the house, we just fix it. She says that's what money and insurance is for, right? Like, okay, sure, okay. So she's like, I mean, for the most part, you take off from the grass, right? She said, but if there's a plane that you have to take off from that runway to get it off the ground and
from the road, you mean the road?
Yeah, on the in the driveway of the parking lot, really. She's like, by all means, do it, whatever. She says, and my husband calls the shots around here a little less than I do. So it's like, all right. That's basically what she said. My son's happiness is worth more to me than having to fix some siding. So,
right.
Okay, cool. And she says, and how long have you been flying here for? And I was like, long time. And I said, when I started flying here, there was no pavement. There was no railing. All of this out here was a
middle
bunch of dirt.
Nowhere. It was the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was nothing. There was nothing out there. And she's like, and then she says, I bet you used to fly right over here where our house was, huh? I was like, oh, yeah, man. I used to have the plane coming screaming across the street, right across over your property line. And then I would bank and go over the property line over there. And, yeah, man, my flight patterns were a lot bigger and a lot more lenient when the house wasn't there. She's like, just pretend that this house is still not here. And I'm like, well, I mean, we'll figure it out. But I usually like to keep the plane well away from that house.
Right.
Yeah, she was really cool about it. She's like, if it's something that doesn't take off very well in the grass, go ahead, take off from the road. I don't care. She says, you know.
So that would be, you could do your SU that way.
Exactly. Yeah. She says anything where you feel as though that it's not going to take off right in the grass, absolutely, by all means, take off right here on the pavement. And I was like, that's really cool. She said, I trust you. She says, I see you out here flying. She says, I know you know what you're doing. She said, I feel as though that if you felt the plane was out of control, you would do the right thing and not hit the house. And I will try my best. Sometimes you don't have that. Sometimes you don't have that luxury, but I have had planes go out of control there, and I made sure that they didn't go down anywhere near that house. So I do my best.
You're trying to be safe.
Yeah, trying to be safe. Yeah, and then when the kids are outside playing, I definitely like to keep the planes way away from the house. But she's like, yeah, just know that every time you show up, every time he sees your truck over there, and he hears your beeping from your tailgate going up, he's already at the window watching for you.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so cute, man. He's only like 4 or 5 years old. He's just a little kid, just a little boy, and he loves the planes, man. And he loves the jets. He loves them. He likes the propeller ones, but when you put those ones up there that are really loud and the ones that sound like a jet, and I'm like, yeah, he really likes those ones, and I'm like, oh, okay, so he's a jet dude like me.
He's the next generation of this
Yeah,
hobby.
he is, right?
So.
He's the next Dave's RC, man. Yeah, it was pretty cool to hear that, man. So, like, I know that every time I go there now, I'm always looking over in the window and I see him in there. I'll wave to him, and he's like, "Mom, he's here! He's here! He's gonna fly!" I hear him yelling in the house. You can hear him. It's kind of cute. Yeah, man. How long have we been going, Eric?
Hour and 40.
All right, guys. So, yeah, man, we're probably gonna shut down for the night, man. Maybe your next student day. Yeah, right. Hey, man, I already told her, I was like, if he ever wants to come over here and learn, by all means, I've got planes he can learn on. I've got planes that he can fly. I was trying to explain the safe technology to her as well. Like, there's really no way he can crash the plane while it's in safe. And then if I have my DX8 and my DX9, then I can actually buddy box him and keep the plane in safe. I mean, there's really no way that he can have, he can fly the plane and it won't, tip over or roll, just so he can get used to the movement. And she's like, well, it's something we'll think about. I think one of these days I'll see him over there. I think she just wants him to be a little older.
Well, yeah, with someone that young, it's a little hard because they don't fully understand.
He said it'll be my Padawan.
Yep.
Exactly. That's what Tyler was.
Yeah.
Until he started flying better than me.
I was going to say, any last questions, you guys? We need to do this wrap up about all the shows.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric. You want to go ahead? Starting with
sure. So on Saturday evenings, you have Pilot Ryan Media at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and with it being good weather, it could be a little after that. So just be flexible. On Sundays, you have he hasn't done it in a little while, but you sometimes have Randy Huffins, and then you definitely will have BitGo Hobby with Bobby. And those times kind of change a little bit. On Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, you have Dave Marshall. And then after that, at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time, you have Guniac with Nate. On Tuesdays, yep. On Tuesdays, you have Flight Club with Jeff's Customs RC and Raven Rock, which is at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. On Wednesdays, you have Mr. Hamilton's Hangar.
Speaking of Hamilton's Hangar, he just left a comment saying that he's got the Black Horse L39 packed up in the car for tomorrow. Bro, I'm really excited. I cannot wait to see that, man. I'm excited for that video, man. I can't wait. Go ahead, Eric.
That's sweet. That's a pretty bird. That's turned out good.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. And thanks for the super chat.
Hamilton Hangar is at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. And then you have Dave, not Dave's RC, we're Dave's RC. You have GB Linden's Hump Day with GB Linden, which is like 7:30. Well, shoot, it's like 10 p.m. Eastern time with GB.
Eastern time, yeah, yep.
Sometimes it does go a little earlier than that if Hamilton is not streaming that night. Like a couple weeks ago when Che was dealing with some family stuff and didn't go live, he did go a little earlier than that. But on Thursdays at 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern time, you have Jeff in Lower Alabama. And then after that, so 7. Sorry, I have to do the conversion in my head. At 9 p.m. Eastern time, you have Hangar 51. Because I'm out west, so most of you guys are.
I'm just watching your brain work. That's all.
Well, I'm tired, so I can't.
I bet you are, dude. I know you are, bro. I'm tired. I know you're tired.
But you have Marathon Man Kenny at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then back here on Friday nights with Dave's RC. So
Did we see smoke? We saw the smoke. We saw the smoke. Green smoke, baby. It's clear. Oh, man. All right, guys. Hey, man, I appreciate all you guys being here tonight. Pilot Ryan, thanks for stopping by. George, love to see you guys here, man. Awesome. Good stuff. GB Linden, thank you. Reckham Royce, John Graham, Paul, appreciate you asking the question on the VA thing, man. That was a great topic to touch on, really. It really was. I mean, there's a lot of ex-military guys in here that kind of need to know that stuff anyways. Mickey B, Jeff from Lower Alabama, man. Thanks, all of you guys. Roach Coach, I will hit you up later, man. Just kind of going through the list. Boss, man, thank you so much for Hamilton Tanger. Thank you. I appreciate all you guys being here, man. Love every stinking one of you guys. Me and you got Eric, you got anything else?
no, just have a great weekend. The weather should be good to go flying, you guys.
All over the U.S., man. It's gonna be a nice day for everyone to go fly. That's it, guys. I'm Dave, Dave's RC. Make sure you guys check out all the new smart technology, guys. New smart chargers. I couldn't advocate until I had one, but this thing is freaking awesome,
Not
guys.
this
Whether
late,
you get
okay?
the S1200, whether you get the S22, 2200.
I'll be out there in a second.
Badass charger, you guys. And like I said, it doesn't just do smart packs; it does every pack that you have. So make sure you guys check out all the new smart stuff, smart technology, smart packs. The Gen 2 batteries are actually really, really nice. I've got a couple now, and I love them.
They're
We'll see you
warranted
guys
really
tomorrow
well
at the
too.
flying
So.
field. I don't know if I'm going to go live or if I'm just going to record it. We'll see if we can go live, but if not, you guys will have a video posted up tomorrow. I got a Falco Wolf that we're flying, and I got this F-35 we're flying tomorrow morning. Until next time, guys, I'm Dave. That's Eric. Peace.